Close your eyes for a second. Now picture this. On June 6, 2025, the Carter 6 finally lands. It's also his first solo headline appearance at Madison Square Garden. Fans pack arenas, critics shrug. Slack calls it meandering, insular, and uninspired to date. And The Guardian says the MSG opener is a chaotic but charismatic sprint through Wayne's classics. Flash everywhere. The fire? Debated. The Carter 6 debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with about 108K units, week of June 16, 2025, then drew mixed reviews across outlets. Something's off, and it's not just the bars, the beats, or the energy. It's something deeper. We're not just talking about an album drop. We're talking about the unraveling of one of the greatest legacies in hip-hop. And a warning shot that came years ago from a man many called a hater, Pusha T. Yep, Mr. Daytona, the king of surgical diss tracks, the man who told us the truth and got roasted for it. But now, it's all playing out, line for line, just like he said. So, let's go full autopsy mode on this saga. No scalpel left unused. Tap like if you're ready to go deep, because this isn't just about Wayne. This is about the entire machine behind the artist and the damage it leaves behind. Let's rewind to the track that sparked this whole storm. Infrared off of Daytona. Pusha T wasn't throwing random shots. He was loading up years of industry dirt and spraying facts like bullets. Oh, now it's okay to kill baby? N-words looked at me like I really killed a baby. That's not just clever wordplay. That's a direct dig at Birdman. And behind the line, years of exploitation. Then he drops the hammer. A flash without the fire. Another multi-platinum rapper trapped and can't retire. Chills. He's painting a picture. Wayne, one of the greatest to ever do it, still trapped, still trying to prove something when he shouldn't have to. When the fire should have already bought him peace. But it didn't. Because Wayne, like many others, signed contracts that turned his mic into a leash. Pusha was calling it years ago, and everyone ignored it. Why? Because nobody likes the guy who yells fire until the house is actually burning. And now, Wayne's career smells like smoke. Let's go deeper. That flash without fire line isn't metaphor, it's prophecy. Because Wayne's been dropping albums for years, and while the flash still shows up, the chains, the dreadlocks, the cool factor, the fire that made him Wayne feels like it's flickering. And the saddest part is, he's not alone. Many artists get caught in this cycle, touring nonstop, recording endlessly, not because they're inspired, but because they have no choice. Contracts, advances, debt, labels that treat artists like rental cars. Even Kanye West once said he couldn't retire, couldn't stop, because of how bad his paperwork was. Kanye publicly posted contracts and said he wouldn't release new music until freed from his deals. He said he needs every lawyer in the world to look at these while referring to the music industry as modern-day slavery. An EMI publishing contract even banned him from retiring as a songwriter for a time. So what makes you think Wayne's situation was any different? Here's where it gets really messy. Back in Exodus 23 verse 1, Pusha T took off the gloves and said it plain. You signed to one N-word that signed to another N-word that signed to 3 N-words. Now that's bad luck. That wasn't a diss. That was a diagnosis. It exposed the truth behind the smoke and mirrors, the fact that one of hip-hop's top dogs was shackled by a chain of middlemen, all taking bites out of his pie. Birdman had Wayne on a puppet string, and nobody said a word. But let's get real. There's a difference between being managed and being molded. And Birdman didn't just manage Lil Wayne, he groomed him. Journalists have contextualized that as abuse. And yes, we mean that in more ways than one. Let's talk about facts. There's an old interview where Wayne, as a kid, talked about how Birdman and others forced him into a situation with an older woman.
I got when I was 11, Twist. I ain't never pressed charges. I'ma do you like baby them did me. I'll never forget that day. Yeah, no, they was all in the kitchen. I was scared. You don't understand. I was a different man after that. I was Lil Wayne. After that, yeah.
He laughs about it now, but that's the trauma laughing. You don't need a psychology degree to see what was going on there. That's not mentorship. That's manipulation. Not just contracts and control, the optics told their own story. There's public footage and photos of Birdman and Wayne kissing on the lips. And yes, the CEO was dad dynamic went literal. Birdman later defended it.
My son, you hear me? If he was right here, I'd kiss him again. You hear me? I kiss my daughter, I kiss my other son. That's my son, man. I'll do it again, do it tomorrow. I'll kill for him, ride for him, and die for him.
Not only do you call your CEO daddy, but you also kiss him on the lips. And in the industry?
What kind of cat gonna go on national TV and kiss a cat that ain't his daddy and call him his daddy? You know what I mean? We don't rock like that. I don't know what kind of picture they was trying to paint. This ain't no mafia.
Right, that was cool.
Cash Money wasn't no mafia, you know what I mean? And you definitely wasn't a mob boss or nothing like that. So I don't understand where the whole kissing situation came in at. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just here to entertain the foolishness. I'm gonna get rich on punishing Cash Money. That's my game plan. I'm gonna put y'all under, so y'all better quit now. What kind of nigga kiss another man?
That kind of power play doesn't just affect your personal life. It seeps into your business, your confidence, your identity as an artist. Birdman took control of Wayne's youth, his voice, and eventually, his money. And that brings us to the next big betrayal. The Young Thug switch-up. Picture this. Wayne's gearing up to drop the Carter 5. The world's waiting. The culture's hyped. And then boom, Birdman stops it. No rollout, no release, no explanation. Instead, he starts pushing Young Thug like a carbon copy. New dreads, new tats, new voice. And guess what? Birdman publicly touted Young Thug as the future and pushed him via Rich Gang right as he stalled Carter 5.
Yeah, YSL. Carter 6 coming out Friday, first show. New Orleans, Holly Grove. Fuck, nigga. Meet me down, baby. Beat me down. Yeah.
While Carter 5 sat in label limbo, Thug retitled Carter 6 to Barter 6 after legal pressure. It dropped April 2015 via 300/Atlantic with Birdman appearances and promotion. That's not a coincidence. That's a calculated move. He iced out Wayne, the very artist who made him a mogul, and tried to replace him like some off-brand action figure. On December 4th, 2014, Wayne went on Twitter and said to all my fans, "I want you to know that my album won't and hasn't been released because Baby and Cash Money Rec refused to release it." And a few minutes later, he wrote again, "I am a prisoner and so is my creativity. Again, I am truly sorry and I don't blame you if you're fed up with waiting for me in this album, but thank you." When he sees nothing works, in January 2015, Wayne sued Cash Money for $51 million as Carter 5 stalled. A June 2018 settlement cleared the path to its September 2018 release. That's not family, that's corporate treason. So when Pusha rapped about being the liar while everyone else stayed silent, he wasn't wrong. He was the only one calling out the fire while the rest of hip-hop kept sipping champagne with the arsonist. Enter rickRoss. When things hit the fan, Ross didn't hold back. He dropped "Idols Become Rivals" and let it fly. How the F you touch $500 million and your team starving? Man, that line cracked the whole Birdman fantasy wide open. He exposed the bling empire for what it was, a flashy facade propped up by artists who were broke behind the scenes. Ross even addressed the fake watches, the illusion, the idea that if you make it flashy enough, you can lure in the next generation and trap them the same way. Now ask yourself, how many new rappers are walking into that same trap right now? Tap like if this got you heated. Smash subscribe if you've seen artists you love fade not from lack of talent, but from being used up by the system. Let's stay with rickRoss for a second. In his Billboard interview, he didn't just throw shade, he opened up the blinds on the whole game. I just think it's so effed up. Us seeing Lil Wayne's situation and suffering from that, I think we kind of all got used to it. I think the culture accepted that Wayne would not put out another album, and that's not the way the game should be. That's not the way we designed this. That's not the way this is supposed to be. Pause. That line right there, we got used to it, that's the tragedy. We watched one of the greatest rappers of all time get stalled, shelved, and sabotaged. And after a while, we just accepted it. We got used to Wayne not dropping albums. We got used to seeing him tour endlessly without new heat. We got used to him being stuck. And the game just moved on, like it was normal. That's why Ross went so hard on Birdman, because he knew if he didn't say something, no one else would. Pusha said it, Ross said it, but everyone else? Quiet. Because Birdman wasn't just Wayne's father figure, he was the gatekeeper, and speaking against him meant risking access, risking opportunity, risking your own bag. So silence became survival. And this is why Ross's line hits like a gut punch. You're on an island, your whole team's starving. He wasn't just talking about Wayne. He was talking about a broken system, artists putting their blood, sweat, and tears into building a legacy, only to end up broke, shelved, or discarded. And Birdman, still shining, still vacationing, still pretending everything's all love. Nah, this wasn't just poor leadership, it was predatory. And what makes it worse? When Wayne needed support the most, even his own proteges started acting funny. Now, we're not saying Drake directly betrayed Wayne, but look at the pattern. Wayne gave him the keys to the kingdom, gave him the cosign of a lifetime, and when Wayne was deep in legal hell with Birdman, fighting just to release music, some peers stayed quiet. Drake did post public support. We're fighting until you get yours. Freedom to drop music and peace of mind. I don't know what these other weirdos are on with all the side talks, but I know you gave me a shot, and all I can ever do with the rest of my life is return the favor. Young Money forever. But didn't directly attack Birdman. The same Drake who said thank me later didn't even say thank you back when the man who put him on was drowning. Again, it's not about dissing Drake. It's about painting the picture. Wayne was isolated, mentally, financially, emotionally, cut off from his art, from his allies, from the love. How is he supposed to cook in the kitchen when the pantry's been raided, the stove's broken, and everyone else already ate your meal? So now here we are. Wayne settled in 2018, regained control of his release path, and in 2020 reportedly sold his own masters in a 9-figure deal. In June 2020, Wayne reportedly sold his own masters to UMG for over $100 million, revealed via a lawsuit. Separate court filings by ex-manager Ronald Sweeney allege that deal included Young Money's entire masters catalog, Drake, Nicki, etc. But that scope is reported from the lawsuit, not independently confirmed by UMG. And on the surface, that sounds like a win. But if you're paying attention, that sounds like a man cashing out not because he wants to, but because he has to. Wayne wasn't just selling music. He was selling decades of his life, his bloodline, his legacy, because the industry never gave him the payout he earned in real time. He's been retroactively fighting for what he should have had all along. And let's be honest, if you've been in the game since you were a kid, and all you know is touring, lawsuits, betrayal, and being used up, you don't even know what retirement looks like. You don't know what peace feels like. A flash without the fire. That line keeps echoing, man. Because what we're seeing on Carter 6, that's exactly it. The image is there, the look, the name, but the flame, the hunger, it's flickering. This ain't 2008 Wayne. This isn't dedication to Wayne. This is a version of Wayne still trying to make art in an industry that burned the art out of him. And that's what Pusha T saw coming a decade ago. He told us line for line that this would happen, that if you chain a great artist to a broken system, you'll still get the flash, but the fire, it'll burn out. And if we keep ignoring it, we'll keep losing our best artists, not to violence, not to irrelevance, but to the grind itself. This video wasn't about starting drama. It was about finishing a conversation the culture left halfway done. And to every up-and-coming rapper out there, let this be the blueprint of what not to fall into. Because if it can happen to Wayne, it can happen to anybody. If this hit you in the chest or made you pause and rethink how the music biz really works, tap that like button. It's free, it's fast, and it tells the algorithm you're rocking with truth over hype. And while you're here, smash that subscribe. We're not done. Next up, we're diving into how Cash Money, Young Money, and OVO played a quiet chess game for years, and why one wrong move almost ended the empire. You don't want to miss that. Until then, stay sharp, stay loud, and remember, flash without fire is just a flicker. But real heat changes the game forever. Peace.